Ladies and gentlemen, back once again here for the pirate treasure challenge. Hold on, I forgot to get the game client up, so I'm going to start that up here. All right, so I have this challenge, by the way, is I watched the no, I didn't watch them, but I saw the videos that I posted last summer when I ran this, and I noticed that I had one that was entitled. I realize this is really hard for you guys, and that may or may not be true. Maybe you're familiar with this kind of thing or not. But if you are struggling with this, I will say, no need to feel bad because this is a tough one. Particularly, what I'm noticing is that, um, man, the decompile here in Ghidra is super messy. I almost want to try this with another. Just actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up Ida and see if I can see how this looks in Ida. Just a sec. All right. So this is Ida. This is another reverse engineering tool, disassembly program. I got it loaded up in here. This is that same verify key function. It looks a little better in Ida, a little cleaner. Still, I mean, it's better. It looks better. Let's just leave it at that. It still requires some work to decipher. So again, if you find you're not able to do it, don't worry about it too much. There's a write-up linked on Canvas, and there is a Python script already available, which we'll take a look at now. You can use to generate a code, but still, do make an effort here. But long story short, as I was looking through here, we have a character set, which is 0, 1, 2. I think I pointed that out last video. There's 32 characters here, including alpha and numeric. Usually when we see something like that, 32 characters does not mean, all right, so we're missing some letters here, right? For example, I is missing and so on. So we have 10 numeric characters, and then we have 22 of the 26 in the English alphabet alpha characters. That's significant. That says something to me, but I have experience with that, so I don't expect you to know what that is. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Also, when digging through here in Ghidra at the bottom here, I noted this right here. So this is when you see 0x like this, it's a hexadecimal value, 10001. And that, to me, again, just simply from experience, is also significant. And as a matter of fact, if I throw these into hexadecimal here, we can see a little bit more like what we see in Ghidra when we do that. Oh, look at this. Ida has gotten a little bit confused. So if I switch these, by the way, to characters, and this is a little bit messed up here, but okay. Anyway, so 0, or 10001, as I said, is meaningful to me just from experience. I know that that's the hexadecimal value. As you can see, if we translate that to decimal, we get 65,537. And the reason that that's significant to me, along with a 32-bit character set, it says to me that this is RSA encryption. Where, so in order for that to be done, you need to have prime numbers, and you can use any size prime number. You can use, for example, 3. But while that's a common exponent, it's not one that you typically see very much, just because it's not a bigger exponent is, or I'm sorry, the bigger the prime number, the better. within reason. So whereas you can use a small prime number like 3, usually you'll use a larger prime number like 65,537 as a public exponent, or a public prime here for the RSA calculation. And then with the 32-bit character set, that tells us 32 bits. In addition to that, I noted that these values here, we have hex values for 4, 1, so on and so forth. If I go back over to IDA, you can see that they're actually ASCII characters that are hex encoded that spells out Pwn Adventure 3, right? So that gives us 3 clues, 32-bit, 65, 537 for the public, and then we have a plain text validator at the end, so Pwn Adventure 3. And what that tells us is that what this function is doing is it's taking input, all right, and it's using RSA to decode whatever the input happens to be. It's running a validator. That validator includes a character limit. Let's see if I can see it in IDA a little bit easier, because it was kind of a pain in the butt to find it in Ghidra. Anyway, there's a character limit. It's 25 characters is what it's looking for. Here we have different parts of the private for decoding. So with RSA, we can provide a key as long as we can decrypt it with the key that we have. And so this is essentially the key pair here that's doing this. And then in addition to that, also we have a value here, right there, that is brought in and then shifted, right? So we have a comparison here for the function that determines whether or not the code is valid, and that validation takes that value, shifts it to the right with a right shift. This is a binary shift, right? And compares that with the validator, Pwn Adventure 3, the actual ASCII text, and that's what determines whether or not the value is good or not in this case. So it's a little bit of a complicated function. It's definitely easier to do here in IDA. This is just way cleaner. I kind of wish that I had started with this instead of using Ghidra, but Ghidra is great. I'm sure I just did something wrong, or there's something I'm not doing, in that respect. But the generator, the key generator pi that we have here, what it does is, so what we have here at the top here, it's not straight base 32. It's not using a standard character set. So what, hold on, I want to make sure I give credit where it's due here. So this is hex EBFE. The write-up is linked on Canvas, as is the Python script. What he does is he essentially figures out this custom character set, this custom base 32 encoding, writes here some code in order to do that translation, and then right here in the main is essentially the reversing of the function, the verify key function in the game logic, by taking that 32-bit character set, the Pwn Adventure string, which is represented here by the hex values you see there, the random, let me show you where that is. Down here is, well, it's in here somewhere. It is randomized to a certain extent, but then it's also validated, so it's checked. Then we have the RSA, and then we have the output, right? So what this does essentially is this will print out a valid key, or a key that should be valid, because although it doesn't matter, we can have multiple different values, right? We can have any value here. It just has to match the criteria, It has to reverse into ending with a certain string. It has to be the right number of characters, but otherwise, completely random is completely fine, right? So we can have multiple valid keys. We can have multiple invalid keys generated by this as well. We don't really have any way of knowing. And my Poem Adventure 3 client crashed, so now let's go back to that. So I used the script to generate a key, and we'll log in and give that a try. This challenge, I admit, is a little bit of a cop-out because you're probably not going to be doing a lot of this work yourself, and that's fine. I think we're okay with this one because this is normally an extremely difficult challenge, especially since I don't expect any of you to have any previous experience with cryptography or even RSA or reverse engineering. So, feel free to work on a solution of your own, but don't feel bad if that doesn't work. But this might be one you might want to spend a little bit of time on if you have the chance, because this is a really cool example of this kind of challenge that you don't normally come across quite so cleanly. Oh, there we go. All right, can I just copy and paste, or do I need to type these in individually? Hey, all right. All right, so that one wasn't valid, but that's okay. Like I said, we are in a situation where we could have multiple valid or invalid attempts here. Let's keep trying it. So we get a different result each time. That's what we are hoping to see. There we go. We got the ROP chain gun, flag of the pirate, another cowboy coder, and a bunch of other various stuff. The ROP chain gun is ridiculously overpowered chain gun, especially effective against stacks of enemies. Okay, get it? And there's the flag of the pirate. So that is the pirate treasure challenge. And again, I understand kind of a cop out to use somebody else's work, and but I wouldn't feel bad about it in this case because this is a difficult challenge. I do encourage you to spend some time on it on your own. That's very nice. If there's interest to learn more about this, because this is not an uncommon thing to have to deal with, even if you're not in security. It's kind of the basis for a lot of encryption systems. RSA is incredibly common. But not something that I would expect you to just be able to pick up and be like, oh, yes, I know what this is. Because as I said, the only reason that I was able to identify it is, well, number one, the benefit of the prior experience that I have in security, in the topic, but also the prior experience I had with this game and this challenge. Because if I didn't have the video I made last summer that was like, oh, wow, I don't think you guys are going to be able to do this, then I probably would have spent a couple more days trying to come up with a solution. I might have solved it, I might not have, but definitely would have ended up most likely being something. I say definitely, most likely would have ended up being something that would have been just complicated to deal with for you guys anyway, and maybe not even in the end have been a workable solution for anybody. So, but yeah, at least do check out the script and understand what it is doing. It's, at the end of the day, very, very simple as far as that goes. And so I'm going to ask in your write-ups for this one, rather than just simply having a write-up that says, I just downloaded the script and ran it, and then I got a code, please include in your write-up some description of how the script works. What is it doing? I already gave away more or less its structure and how it works in this video. So there should be, I feel, not too much to ask to take. Wow, this is an invincible rat. Anyway, not too much to ask to take some time in this case and check it out and explain it. Okay? All right, thank you. Bye.